players, and I'm going to start with giving NC State a lot of credit. It's a really good football team, well coached, a lot of good players, and so it was a good win for our team. Made a lot of mistakes in the first half, but had a lot of big plays, a lot of missed opportunities, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. So we let them hang in there, but I was really proud of how we played in the second half. Came out and really, I felt like controlled it, especially defense. Had 3 interceptions that second half. And, you know, I always say that the 2 big indicators in winning and losing are turnover ratio and big plays. And, you know, those were the 2 areas where I felt like we had the margin, and that was the difference in the game.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up to questions, please. Right here.
Coach, certainly a turning point. They're driving up 7-6, 4th and 3, and Prentice comes up with the big pick.
Yeah, then we had a penalty on the play. But yeah, that was a big early play, but there were a lot of back and forths, and that's usually how these first games are.
All right here.
Coach, when you get a junior college player in, you know that they're good, but when Patterson got out there, how nice was it to see that, okay, he's legit on this level too?
Yeah, he a couple of huge plays, and you know, he showed that he's big and fast and can catch. I mean, he showed what we've been saying. Not sure if he ran the right route. That's the beauty of Bray. He don't care. He's gonna let it fly. So that pretty much summed it up. Run the wrong route, Bray rewards him, touchdown.
All right, we'll go right here.
Yeah, I like this protocol because they usually scream in our other.
We got them under control.
Get this done in Knoxville.
Eric, you talked on camp about the need to see this team face adversity to know how it's going to respond. Obviously, you had some adversity throughout the game, but particularly right before the half with the fumble at the goal line.
We had a lot in the first half. You know, we had a drive down in the red zone. We don't 4th and 1. We can't convert, and we're trying to pull it away a little bit right at the end, and we screw up a quarterback's knee. But you know what? That was a good step for our team because I said this in the beginning of the year. We're going to have to learn how to grit through 4 quarters of football. We're going to be in a lot of games this year, and that was a good start. It was, and I was proud of it.
Did you speak to them about that adversity?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I talked about it in the before the game. I mean, I knew there's always a lot of adversity in a game, and learning how to manage through it, not get affected, go on to the next play. We didn't handle it very well in the first half. Handled a lot better second half.
Okay, we're going to go right here now.
David Amerson was a Thorpe Award finalist, all the picks last year, but you guys obviously were able to get some stuff going against him. Did you see things that you could target with him, or is that just how things
Well,
work
I
out?
wouldn't say that, but Tyler did a good job with the ball. I was proud of Tyler, especially in the red area. You know, that's where he tends to get a little aggressive, and they were playing zone. They knew it, and there were a couple times he just dropped it down, he threw it away. So I was really proud of Tyler's management in the throwing game. He didn't make a bad mistake, and I said before the game that this defense will make you pay if you make them. He wasn't on all his throws, but that was the best part of what he did. He took care of the football.
Just kind of after all the build-up and everything, all the talk all offseason, for this win, what's the mood? Is it relief? Is it
Well, it's one game, because I already know you guys are going to say, you know, we're there, we're on our way. It's one game, and all that matters is we're 1-0. We have to go clean up a ton of mistakes. We made a ton of mistakes, and go on to the next week and get focused on the next week. So it really doesn't mean anything other than we won the first game.
But just what was the mood of the team? Obviously they were happy to get this under the belt.
I mean, they're not sad they won, of course. But we're not going to sit there and give us, pat ourselves on the back because we won one game. It was a good win, but we got 11 games left. Now we got to work the next week because we got a lot of mistakes.
Okay, back.
Those mistakes in the secondary, could you tell from the sideline, was that communication?
Yeah, I mean, the first half they were doing some up-tempo, which we'd been working on all camp, but we were on our heels. We weren't looking to the sideline, getting the call. It was a little bit, we were in this survival mode. And we settled down better the second half. They actually looked over to see what we were calling, which was, you got to do that to play good defense. So they got us on our heels a little bit, and we had a lot of mental errors. They hit us down the middle a couple of times on some blown coverages. It wasn't just secondary, linebackers, and then the D-line. We had a lot of problems with the pass rush lanes. We let a quarterback break the pocket too many times, so we got a ton of work in all those areas.
Ed?
I know that you talked about this being the deepest team that you have, but to see it in a game, to see those guys rotating in and out, second and third.
Yeah. Well, we needed it, and I'm gonna tell you, man, the first quarter ended and I thought it was halftime. I mean, it was long, man. And we're going to be in these games. We had 80 plays, they had 80 plays. So, you know, we're going up tempo. They were too. And you have to be in condition. There's going to be times when you're winded and you got to recover and keep playing. So it's a little bit of new style out there, but we handled it pretty good. I'm proud of how we finished. That's what mattered to me.
All right, come back.
A couple of things. Were you surprised about Rajon Neal, some of those horizontal runs he was doing? It didn't seem like he was hitting the hole as well as Lane was. And then also, if you have an update on Herman Lathers?
Herman, I don't know, he dinged his shoulder, but I don't know what the extent of it was. Yeah, I was real disappointed in a couple of those runs, and he knew. Just stick it up in the middle, and he just didn't trust it, and they were doing a good job of whipping us on the perimeter, but the runs were designed to stay inside. And so he made some good runs, but then he kind of went back to his ways of trying to bounce it out in space. And Marlon came in, and we did a couple of different things in the second half, and hurt him pretty good. And again, you know, I think that's where our guys got to understand that tempo is going to wear them down if we believe it. And we started popping some runs a little bit better in the second half.
Is that something Neal's been doing in practice or in scrimmages? Because the numbers he had looked pretty good. Was that something different tonight that he's been doing? Had not been doing that before?
Well, he's done it on occasion, and but he's been pretty consistent in not doing it. He just, you know, he had a couple of runs where he bounced it, especially in 4 minutes. You know, we lost 5 yards, and we had something right up in the middle.
Okay, right here.
Coach, with CT, he really went under the microscope, I guess, about 10 days ago. Can you just talk about you handling that pressure? Did you have doubts about what to expect from him tonight?
Well, I wasn't sure how he was going to handle just the whole atmosphere, and he did great. He really did. He seemed calm, seemed like he belonged out there, and obviously made some huge plays to help us. And I knew Justin was going to be a little rusty, and he was, but he made some good plays.
And kind of the same question on Zach.
Zach made a great catch, but you know he's fast, and we got behind their secondary a few times because they're aggressive, and that was a great catch. It was a big play for us.
That one right here.
Coach, you said y'all were going to be a lot of fun to watch. Did you have a lot of fun watching tonight?
Well, but I don't have fun watching us, you know, make all those mistakes. But I do think we got some good weapons out there that can make some big plays, and fans like that. And we had some interceptions, so I think we were fun to watch tonight, and I hope we can go do it next week.
Right outside.
Derek, how exciting, I know you got a lot of mistakes on defense, but to affect them defensively.
Yeah, I thought we hit the quarterback a lot. You know, I don't know how many times we knocked him down and 4 interceptions. And look, this guy's going to get yards, and we knew it. And so you can't get frustrated at that. I was getting frustrated at we were giving him some chunks. But over time, if you keep hitting him, it's going to affect him. And but he's a really good quarterback, and he's tough.
This is what you had in mind when you changed your defensive scheme.
Correct.
To be offensive defense.
Yes, and we had, what, 5 turnovers and a safety? I mean, that's what I'm talking about. And, you know, that's huge.
Okay, all the way over on the left.
Coach, can you talk about your special teams tonight?
Yeah, it was pretty solid until that last kick. You know, we didn't do a good job covering. Matt hit a couple of good punts and then didn't do well on the inside the 20 deals. But, you know, Mike, what did he hit? We have 1 field goal or 2? You know, the first PAT really wasn't. It was a snapper issue. And but I thought we were solid. I wouldn't say we really impacted the game like we'd like to, but it was a good start.
Okay, right here.
Did you feel like your offensive line was consistent enough and getting the push?
No. And, you know, they got some good players up front. I said that. They're an underrated defensive line. And they were pushing us a little bit. We can run, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. We got to get that. So it's not all on the backs. And they did a good job. But you know, our guys kept hitting them, and we started popping in the second half, and that's what matters.
Time for a couple more. We're going to go right here.
Derek, in talking about the running game, you talked about bouncing it outside a bunch, and it looked like you called the timeout in the 3rd quarter, kind of challenged the team, and then Marlon comes out there and responds with like an 8-yard touchdown run right up the gut. Can you just talk about Marlon's night tonight, kind of coming in there?
I thought that was Rajon.
Oh, was that Rajon?
Yeah. You still want me to talk about Marlon?
Sure. You can still talk about Marlon.
That was a good run by Rajon. Marlon, you know, I give Marlon a lot of credit. He comes to this game 13, and it's easy for him to get frustrated and down. He was our second team guy last year, had a lot of aspirations this year, but it just shows when your attitude's right, you don't get frustrated, and you stay with it, good things happen, and that's what he did. He was a big difference for us this game. And you know, it's a great lesson for all players, because it's easy to get really self-absorbed and, you know, complain that things aren't going your way, but here he is. I mean, I wouldn't have predicted he would have been our leading rusher before the game. I wouldn't, but he was, and it shows a lot about his character. Proud of him. 8.3 a carry. Then you say, well, why was he 13? It's a good question.
Becca?
Can you talk a little bit about opening your season with a game in this kind of atmosphere and a neutral site?
Well, I hope it helps us, but only time will tell, because, you know, we're going to have a lot of tough environments and a lot of really good football teams, and you know, it was a good test. It was a good test, but whether it helps us or not is all going to depend on how we use it. I mean, if we sit there and pat ourselves on the back because we won the first game, it's not going to help us.
Becca?
Derek, with Hunter, it seemed like, you know, he's been such a big play guy, but he seemed a little bit more running some more shorter routes. You know, was that part of the game plan? Or was that
Well, they were, you know, it was harder to hit the intermediate routes on these guys, and we hit 2 shots. One was CP, one was Zach, and then Justin had a chance there in the fourth quarter. You know, we took a shot in the fourth quarter, and usually he comes down with it. So, I mean, we're not going to throw the long ball every play, but he made some really big third down catches. You know, I thought the second half, our third downs, let me just say here, you know, you don't look at the difference. We were 4 out of 5 on third down in the third quarter, and that was big. 6 of 10, so we were 60% on third down in the second half, and we were 3 of 9 in the first half. And a lot of that was Justin, but then Bart caught one, Jacob Carter caught one, and you know, we're running this offense. Everybody's going to have to chip in.
All right, last question right here.
Derek, I know it's only one game, but for a fan base that has
Thanks
been
for prefacing
hungry, that has been hungry, a fan base has been hungry for something, what do you hope that this game does to energize this fan base?
The fan base is energized, so they have not been energized, you know, and they get really energized when you don't play well, which they should. So I hope they just continue to support us the way they have. And I will tell you, they were incredible tonight. I mean, you look up in the stands and it was all orange. So the fans haven't let us down yet, and hopefully we won't let them down this year.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.